this is page 53, and this is your final quiz review, just to make sure it's feeling super fresh in your mind before you take the quiz. So I'm just going to do 2 problems, and I'm going to explain to you how they connect to all the problems on the quiz. So here's the first problem. Okay, now here's what you need to know that's really important. If there's a symbol here, if there's a symbol there, then this is not multiplication. Right? A really common mistake I see is people multiplying on everything. This is not multiplication. This is subtraction. So if there's a symbol here, if there's a plus sign here, you just rewrite without the parentheses. Right? You do that first. And literally, if there's a plus sign there, the parentheses don't mean anything. And then you combine like terms. Okay, that's if there's a plus sign there. Now, if there's a minus sign there, like there is here, things are a little bit more complicated. That means what you need to do, if there's a minus sign here, you need to distribute that negative first. You need to distribute the negative. Then you can combine like terms. Okay, now what does that mean, distribute the negative? That means that this negative sign right here, that means that everything inside these parentheses is being subtracted. So that negative sign applies to this is being subtracted, and it also applies to this. So what that looks like is that this x squared is being subtracted. So I'm going to write minus x squared. But this negative 2 is also being subtracted. So that's minus negative 2. Minus a negative is plus. So notice what happens is the signs change here, right? This was positive, now it's negative. This was negative, now it's positive. Now this, I'm just going to copy. There's nothing changing about the top. I'm just going to rewrite without parentheses. And now, so this was step 1. I distributed the negative. Now step 2, I'm combining like terms. Now I want you to notice a couple things here. First, that is a negative 1. That's a negative 1 right there. If there is nothing in front of a variable, it is a 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. This is 2x squared. Notice it's not 2x to the 4th. My exponents only combine when I am multiplying. I am not multiplying here. Okay? I'm looking for another term with an x on it. There isn't one. So I'm just going to bring it down. And then finally, I'm doing negative 5 plus 2. This is negative 5 and positive 2. Now, if I have a negative and a positive, only if I have 2 different signs, they cancel. Now, let's say I had negative 5 and negative 2, then I would just have 7 negatives. That'd be negative 7. But here, because there's a positive and a negative, it cancels. These cancel and turn to 0. Then I'm left with negative 3. Okay? So that is going to help you with 2 of the problems. There's one subtracting problem on the quiz, and there's one adding problem on the quiz. And I'm just going to go over one more problem, and this is going to help you with all the multiplying problems. Okay. Now, there's 2 problems on the quiz that just look like this. And if you see a problem that's something plus something times something plus something, the best way to go for it, you can use the distributive property, 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can use the box method. Okay, I'm going to use the box method here. I like the box method. I'm going to use it every time I see something like this. Okay, so I'm going to use the box method for this part, and what I'm going to make sure I do is I'm just going to make sure that I remember this 3x. And how am I going to remember it? I'm going to just take the step of writing it like this right now. And then when I come back to this, I'll remember that 3x. Okay, so if I see a problem like this, and there's 2 of these on the quiz, I'm going to set up a box. Okay, so this is x plus 5, and I could put x and 5 here. It doesn't matter which way. 2x minus 3. Okay, now I am multiplying, I'm not adding. So this is, and remember this is a 1. This is 2 times 1, that's 2. X times x, that's x squared. 2 times 5, that's 10. Now this is 2x times 5, so there's one x involved here. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, and there's negative 3 times 1x, so this is with an x. And then finally, this last box, there is no x's, right? This is negative 3 times 5. Negative times positive is negative, and 3 times 5 is 15. Now, these are like terms because they both have an x. So I'm going to combine them. So when I write this, so notice if a problem looks like this, I'm going to use the box method. Now, the result of the box method is almost always 3 terms, right? Because you can see here I have 4 terms, but 2 of them are like terms. They're going to combine. So this 2x squared, this is 10 minus 3. 10 minus 3, that's 7x minus 15. Okay, so there's 2 problems on the quiz that look like this. There's 1 problem on the quiz that looks like this. I'm about to do that. And then there's 1 problem on the quiz that looks like this, which is just the 2 of them put together. Okay, so now I'm going to take this 3x and I'm going to multiply it by each piece on the inside. Okay, now you could do it like this. If you've just gotten really comfortable with the box method, you can even set it up as a box like this, if that makes your life easier, and it's literally exactly the same thing, right? You can do this. You can say, okay, 3 times 2, that's 6. X times x squared, right? X times x squared, there's x times x times x is 3 x's. 3 times 7 is 21. X, now look how many x's. There's an x here and there's an x here, that's squared. 3x times negative 15, 3 times negative, so positive times negative is negative. 3 times 15 is 45, and there's an x here. Okay, so notice I use the box method. If you really have just gotten used to that and you like it, go for it, set it up. Okay, if you wanted to just do it with distributing, it looks the same, right? I'm still doing 3 times 2x, right? And I'm not going to redo it. Look, I'm literally just going to copy. This is 21x squared. This is positive 21x squared minus 45x, right? And this is the answer to that problem. And if you can do this problem, right, then you can do this. That's 2 problems on the quiz. You can do this. That's 1 problem on the quiz. And you can do this. That's another problem on the quiz.